Hey my beautiful Geminis, what's going on everybody? It's Sam from CancerMoonsTarot, and I'm coming at you guys with your May 2022 tarot reading. How are you guys? I hope you guys are well. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive on into this and see what we got going on. What do we got coming up here for Gemini? The first card out is going to be a well-deserved reward. Moving on to the next card for you, we also have here Confront. So, a well-deserved reward and Confront. Well, from the looks of it, it seems that with some sort of confrontation this month, it will give you a pretty great reward. It does feel to me like the reward here could be clarity, the reward here could be closure, something along the lines there of clarity and closure. It feels like if you confront somebody, maybe confront a past situation, maybe confront something within yourself, you'll be able to have clarity and closure in order to move forward from something that's been eating at you for quite some time. Now, when I mention quite some time, this could potentially be a situation that's been eating at you for years. So for a few of you Geminis, there may have been a wound that's been open for quite a long time, potentially even a couple of years, that's finally going to be stitched closed coming into May 2022. Now, do keep in mind, during May 2022, we are going to have Mercury stationed in retrograde. So with Mercury being in retrograde, this is that time where things from the past or things that have been buried very deep below start to resurface for you. And as these energies resurface, we're pretty much forced to confront it, you know? So it's either we confront these energies now, or they're going to keep on pestering us until we do. So with that being said, it does feel to me that you're going to have a pretty big opportunity window here to gain some sort of closure or clarity of some sort of open wound that's been going on for years. You finally are able to stitch it closed here, is what I'm seeing. Let's take a look here into the recent past for Gemini. What do we have for the recent past here for Gemini? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Throughout May 2022. We do have here the Five of Swords upright. We also got here the Ace of Cups, and we got here the Six of Swords. Might I add, Gemini, too, definitely getting into your energy as well. I feel an overwhelmingness, like an overwhelmed amount of drained. You're super drained here. It's definitely a very draining kind of energy. It feels to me like whatever this wound is, it's just been such a very long and tiring battle to move on, to gain clarity, to let go of something here. It really does feel to me like it's been affecting and wearing and tearing on you for such a long time. So even tapping into your own energy personally, I can just feel how drained you are. It's starting to manifest within myself. So I'm definitely going to try to take a brief period here to ground myself, maybe get a little bit of my energy back, because I feel like, whew, I've been punched in the face. But let's go ahead and get into this. So taking a look into your recent past, Five of Swords here, Six of Swords. So you tried to move on from this as quickly as you could. You know, I think that you didn't want this situation to turn out the way that it did. You didn't want a long, dragging, ongoing open wound. You wanted to put a Band-Aid on it essentially as quickly as you could and stop this wound from hurting you. So it does feel to me like you pretty much buried something that happened in your past and you kept it bottled up for such a long time. But with the Ace of Cups showing up here, keep in mind, even though the Ace of Cups could be the card that symbolizes love and fulfillment, it could also be the card that symbolizes a lot of emotion. And when we talk about emotion, it's not always the emotions of love. It could talk about the emotions of pain. So I do feel here what you've bottled up inside, Gemini, is quite a lot of pain here. And the thing about that pain is you've kind of masked all that pain with something else to love instead. That's what I feel happened here for you, Gemini. Like after all the pain that was caused to you, you found something else to love instead. And because you found something else to love, you put all of your attention onto that to pretty much hide and bottle up the pain from whatever it is you've experienced in your past. For some of you guys, whatever you found to love could have been a new partnership. It could have been a new relationship. For others of you, it could have been a hobby. It could have been a new career. It could have been your job. Whatever the case may be, though, Gemini, it kind of feels to me like you've put something new in your life for you to love to kind of distract you from all the pain that you've bottled up here previously, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at the current energies here, though, for May 2022. What are going to be the current energies here for Gemini? Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus throughout May 2022. And what do we have? We have here the Devil. Yep, we got here the Tower. And then lastly, we have here the Queen of Swords. Oh yeah, it's the realization that no matter how much you tried to bottle up this pain, this past experience, it's like no matter how much you tried to pretend it wasn't there anymore and that you were over it, you're realizing that that wound is still open, that wound is still there. I never got rid of it at all. Queen of Swords. Yeah, so with the Tower card here to the Devil, you're still stuck with that wound. It's still wide open. And it hasn't had any sort of air to be able to breathe. Remember, you can't put a Band-Aid on a wound that needs air, right? So it does feel to me like coming into your month of May here so far, one of the biggest difficulties that's revealing itself to you is this scar that happened, this wound that happened years ago, is still wide open today, and there's so much that you still have to heal from that's never really been confronted. But the great thing, though, about this month, because I don't want you guys to think that this month is going to be incredibly terrible. I don't want you guys to think this month is like the worst thing ever, because the great thing is that when you do confront whatever this is, when you do confront this wound, you finally get to close it. You finally get to stitch it, shut it, close it, heal it, and keep it popping, pushing, and moving forward. So that's what's so beneficial about this month, is that with everything coming to the surface, as painful as it may be, it's the time to finally let it all go. So looking at your current energies here for May 2022, it's that realization of, damn, I never actually really moved on. I never really actually let go. This was sitting with me for all these years, or this X amount of time, and I'm still stuck feeling this pain. So that seems to be the realization. Let's see what the challenge is. What's going to be the challenge here for Gemini, please? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout May 2022. And what do we got? We got here the Three of Swords. Yep. We also got here the Nine of Wands, and we got here the Two of Pentacles. So Gemini, taking a look at the challenge over here, Three of Swords, Nine of Wands, and the Two of Pentacles. The challenge for you is being able to really allow yourself to feel this pain again, because it's something you don't want to. You've been so used to pushing it away for so long, letting that pain come back in is an experience that you don't want to have at all. With the Two of Pentacles jumping up over here, it's like, yeah, I know it would be good for me to let this pain come back in so that I can focus on letting it go. But at the same time, it's just a really intense experience that I don't necessarily feel like going through. So Gemini, you're definitely feeling pretty on and off about letting this pain back in, because you know that it's going to be a very intense experience. So that's the challenge. Will you let the pain back in, or will you continue to keep it bottled up and to basically try to push it away? Let's go ahead and have a look here and see what you're dealing with. What are my Geminis going to be dealing with here throughout May 2022? Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We have here the Three of Wands. We also got here the Ten of Swords. We got here the King of Wands. And lastly, we have here the Emperor. So, Three of Wands here to the Ten of Swords. I think that you felt like the more that time would pass by, the more that time would go on, this situation wouldn't have an impact on you as it did when it originally happened in your past. You felt that as time continued to go on, the more and more I would just naturally let go, and I would be healed. And even though time can be a really, really great healer, if you never actually gave yourself the opportunity to heal and only bottled up your feelings and emotions, you never actually did any sort of healing. So based upon what you're dealing with here coming into May, is you thought that time really would have healed this situation, but time didn't do anything at all. You still feel the same way you did today as you did in your past. And with the King of Wands here to the Emperor, you thought that you'd be able to control how you felt. You thought you'd be able to keep yourself cool, calm, and collected and distracted enough so that you can move on from whatever this intense situation was. But I think you're just realizing more and more, I never did a lick of healing. I never healed from this situation, and it never went away, even when I thought it did. I convinced myself that this pain went away, but it never genuinely did. So based upon what you're dealing with is just this massive realization that whatever occurred a while ago, years ago, a couple months ago, so on and so forth, you never really got over something or past something, and that pain's been with you from the past all the way to the present. So with this major realization and with all this coming to the forefront and the surface, it's pretty intense to confront it, because it's like, damn, I got to look at all this freaking pain, all these mistakes that have happened, whether it's come from you or other people, and I have to figure out how to heal and how to be open to this and how to let go of all this pain. So it's pretty intense, it's pretty overwhelming. But when you allow yourself to get on into it and ease on into it, it's not going to be as bad as you think. All right, guys, let's go ahead and see where things are going. Where things going to be going here for Team Gemini. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus throughout May 2022. Where are things going here for Gemini? We got here the Five of Wands. We got here the King of Swords. We have here the Four of Wands. And we have here the Eight of Pentacles. So, based upon where things are going, Five of Wands to King of Swords. Still struggling here to let down your boundaries. Still struggling here to tear down your walls. But I think that there's going to be some sort of assistance coming in here for you. Now, when I say assistance, it doesn't necessarily have to be a physical person. This could be Mercury coming in to help you. This could be the eclipse that we're about to experience shortly. It's occurring before May, by the way, so this eclipse energy can carry into the month of May. But it could be an astrological influence that this is referencing. So whatever help you're getting doesn't necessarily have to be a physical person. It could be your spirit guides, you know, astrological things going on that help you get that push in the right direction, okay? So as I mentioned, it's going to be hard to still tap into your vulnerability here. King of Swords to the Five of Wands. You're going to feel like it's still a struggle. It's a struggle right now to be vulnerable. It's a struggle right now to open up to this pain, but something's going to come in here and help you. And if it is a physical person, you know, maybe you might open up to a friend about what it is you're going through, and maybe they're going to help you throughout this really painful process and help you, you know, allow all these emotions and feelings to surface, you know, a lot more easier. It's easier sometimes when you do that with somebody that you trust rather than going through this process all alone on your own, okay? Now, we also do have here the Eight of Pentacles. It's going to be a lot of work here. You know, based upon where things are going, you have a lot of work to do. You have a lot of things to uncover. You have a lot of things to heal. So this is about getting to work here, jumping into the month of May. There's a lot of things that you have to make peace with and that you have to accept and that you have to confront within yourself in order to truly have that experience of really letting go. So you have a lot of work here cut out for you, but it's not something that you can't manage. Trust me, you're going to be able to get through this here, Gemini. So I want you to kind of look at this month here as a month where you've put something off for so long. Picture this as a project, for example, right? You know, when you've put projects off for so long, remember back in school, middle school, high school, you had to do this crazy project and it's like the final grade of the year. And, you know, you had 5 months to do it, but you're down to the last 2 weeks. And the project is a project that takes like literally 5 months to do. And now you have 2 weeks to do it. And now you got to cram your butt off to make sure you get that project done. Look at that kind of as this situation, you know? In your past, you really had all that time and opportunity to heal what was happening, but you didn't want to face it then. So you buried it away and you shoved it away as long and as deep and as far as you could. And now it's time for that final grade. Just like with that project, you know, it's the day to present the project. It's the day to heal. Like there's no more escaping it. You can't push it off anymore. You have to do the work now. Look at that as your month for May. And even though a lot of you guys are going to be like, well, Ant, that's incredibly fucking stressful. Indeed it is. But you're still going to get the project done. AKA, you're still going to get the healing done. You're still going to get an A on the project. You're still going to get an A for healing, okay? I almost said an A for effort, but you're still going to get an A for healing. And once you guys get through this experience, you're going to be feeling so much more relieved, so much better, and so much more empowered. And having the closure that you've been really seeking for years, even though you didn't do anything to get the closure then, getting the closure now is going to be a beautiful thing for you because it's going to allow you to release so much, especially a lot of things that you've been carrying on your back for years. You know, this is like really long time burdens. And with this burden, it's been wearing and tearing at you for so long. Finally being able to let it go, you're going to be feeling a lot better energetically. So this is good to confront it now. Okay? All right, guys, let's jump to the overall outcome. What's going to be the overall outcome here for Team Gemini? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Throughout May 2022, what's going to be the overall outcome? And what do we have? We have here the Page of Pentacles, and we also have here the Eight of Swords. Yeah, and I think that that's a decent outcome for sure, because Page of Pentacles here, right? This is the card of saying, it's time for me to apply myself. It's time for me to invest myself. And what are you investing yourself into? Well, everything that's been hidden deep in your mind. Eight of Swords. All the things that have been in the back of your mind, all the things that you bottled up, it's time to confront it. It's time to do it. There's no more hiding. There's no more running. I've, you know, basically used up all the time I could to avoid this situation as possible. It's time to confront it in full force. So you are basically going to be, I don't want to say forced to confront it, but with Mercury being in retrograde, it's not going to be easy to run away from it again. You know, it's that situation where it's like, you're at the deadline. You know, the project's due. You got to turn the project in. So it's time for you to be at the deadline of your healing. You know, you can't avoid it anymore. It's time to actually confront and heal. So Geminis, thank you guys for watching. Really, really appreciate it. I don't feel like there's any further more messages that need to come out here for you. I think it's good to leave the reading off here. Now, I am sure that there's going to be a couple Geminis that are not satisfied with this reading. It's understandable. I know that a lot of people are not really happy to hear this type of information, but if it turns out that this resonates towards you, I hope you take this information and I hope you really stick with it and run with it and realize, you know what, it is time to sit down and confront whatever painful situation occurred in my past that I've kind of buried away for years. I hope you really do confront it, because it's so worth it. Even though the situation is a struggle, it's difficult, it's painful, it's intense, when you get through it, you're going to feel so much better having that closure. Because when you don't have closure, it still creates a wear and tear on you for many more years to come, especially if you continue to avoid this situation. You know, I'm sure you could continue to avoid it if you really tried hard enough to, but I think that it's time to no longer avoid it and to confront whatever this is head on. So I know that it may not resonate to every Gemini out there. If it doesn't, that's totally cool. If it resonates to you though specifically though, I would definitely, I would go through the challenge here. You know, it's a difficult month for a few of you, but it's not anything you can't overcome. And the reward that comes from it is going to be the best thing for you. Remember, that was the first card that came out, right? A well-deserved reward. When you confront this situation, the reward is going to be that you have clarity. It's going to be that you finally can release something that's been a heavy burden on you. And after you let that go, you're going to be feeling so much more lighter. You're not going to have that weight on your shoulders anymore. You may even make amends with things or people in your past. And it may even create more new beginnings, potentially with certain types of people, especially if you've been in a standoff energy with somebody for a while. If this situation is referring to a relationship of your past, maybe you and somebody will get to go forward on better terms. You never really know. So ultimately here, Gemini, I think the reward is worth the effort. The reward here is worth the struggle, because you know what? If you don't really go through with it, it feels to me like you're going to be confronted with this situation inevitably again in your future. And it's like at some point you're going to have to take a look and heal, you know? So it's like you might as well knock it out now rather than hand in your paper late or your project late. You know what I'm saying? Don't hand in your healing late. Hand it in on time, okay? Time's about to be up, so go ahead and go for it, okay? All right, Gemini, I love you. Be well. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. And with that being said, I will catch you guys in the next video. Much love to my Gemini peeps, and have yourselves a good one. Peace.